The boarding. The spaceport buzzed with noise as travelers moved through shining halls. Robots rolled by, carrying bags. Screens blinked with flight details in many languages. But in the middle of all this, a small boy walked calmly. His name was Zion. He was just 10 years old, but there was something strong about him. He wore a neat black suit, his shoes polished, and a small silver badge pinned to his chest. In his hand was a silver boarding pass, a rare pass that only a few people in the galaxy ever held. A friendly flight attendant saw him. "Welcome aboard, young man," she said with a smile. "Right this way, first class." Other passengers looked at him, surprised. A child, traveling first class alone? But Zion just nodded politely and followed the woman down the shining ramp to the ship. The ship was beautiful, large and smooth like a flying whale. The name on the side said Starlight Voyager 1. Inside, everything was luxury. Soft leather seats, golden lights, windows that showed the stars. Zion found his seat, 1A, right by the window. He sat down quietly and placed his small bag under the seat. But next to him, a woman frowned. She was in her mid-50s, wearing a bright red jacket, big gold earrings, and too much perfume. Her name was Karen, and she had a way of making everything about her. She turned, saw Zion, and her face changed. "Excuse me," she called loudly to the attendant. "Why is this child sitting here?" The flight attendant turned. "Ma'am, he has a first-class ticket." Karen laughed loudly. No, there must be some mistake. Look at him. He can't afford this. This is first class, not a school bus." Zion stayed quiet, looking out the window. Karen leaned forward, her voice sharp. "I'm not sitting next to that." The other passengers started to turn and watch. Zion looked at her and said softly, "This is my seat." Karen scoffed. "You must be in the wrong section. This is for high-class travelers, not for strays." The flight attendant looked nervous. "Ma'am, please lower your voice." Karen pointed at Zion. "I want him moved. He probably snuck in here. He should be in economy, if anywhere at all." Zion still didn't raise his voice. He didn't cry. He didn't argue. Instead, he touched a small black bracelet on his wrist. He held it close to his mouth and whispered, "I think you should call the pilot now." The bracelet blinked once, silent, smooth. The flight attendant frowned. "Call the pilot?" Zion nodded. "Please." Just then, another flight attendant, higher in rank, came over. Her badge said Chief Attendant Mara. "What's going on here?" she asked. Karen jumped in before anyone else could speak. "This child is making trouble. I demand to speak to someone in charge." Chief Mara looked at Zion. She noticed the silver pass. She noticed the bracelet. Her eyes widened slightly. She leaned down to Zion and said gently, "Is everything all right, sir?" Karen's mouth dropped open. "Sir? Did you just call him sir?" Chief Mara didn't answer her. She stood up quickly and turned to a nearby crew member. "Inform the cockpit. Priority alert. Level 1. The crew member ran. Karen looked confused. Priority what? For him. Passengers now stared openly. Whispers started around the cabin. "Is that a command bracelet? Did she say level 1? Who is this kid?" Zion stayed quiet. He looked calm, but his eyes were sharp. He folded his hands in his lap and waited. Karen crossed her arms and muttered, "Ridiculous. Spoiled brat. Probably just playing with toys." But inside, her voice was shaking. A light on the ceiling blinked red. The door to the cockpit opened slowly. Someone was coming. And it wasn't just a pilot. It was someone with answers. And power. The pilot's call. The door to the cockpit slid open with a soft whoosh. Everyone turned to look. A tall man stepped out. He wore a black and silver pilot's uniform with golden wings on his chest. His boots clicked sharply on the floor. His face was calm, but serious. His name badge read, Captain Reese. He walked slowly toward the first-class cabin. Karen sat up straighter in her seat. She smiled, trying to look innocent. "Ah, finally someone in charge," she said loudly. "There's a little problem with this boy. I think he's in the wrong seat." The captain didn't answer right away. He looked down at Zion. Zion nodded once. Captain Rees turned to the crew. Is this the child who asked to speak with me? Chief Mara nodded. Yes, sir. Level 1 alert from his bracelet. The room fell completely silent. Karen blinked. Excuse me. Level 1. For him. The captain ignored her. He knelt beside Zion's seat. Everything okay, young man? Zion replied softly, not really, but I'm staying calm. Karen looked confused. Wait, what is happening? Why are you talking to him like that? Captain Rees stood up slowly and turned to her. This passenger is on the silver command list, he said. Karen frowned. The what? The silver command list, the captain repeated. Only people directly connected to the Galactic Defense Council travel under that title. The passengers gasped. A man 2 rows back whispered, he's military? No, said another. He's something more. Karen's smile faded. That's impossible. He's just a kid. A child can't be part of the council. Captain Rees looked at her sharply. This child, he said, is Zion Zeke, son of Admiral Zeke, commander of the Skyfleet and owner of this airline. Karen's face turned pale. The bracelet on Zion's wrist blinked again. Captain Rees tapped his communicator. Open secure channel. Contact Admiral Zeke. High priority. Karen began to panic. Wait, this is all a mistake. I didn't know. You didn't ask, the captain said coldly. A screen folded down from the ceiling. It lit up with a bright blue logo, the mark of the Skyfleet. In seconds, a man's face appeared. Sharp jaw, silver beard, eyes like steel. It was Admiral Zeke. His voice was calm, deep. This is Admiral Zeke. What's the situation? Captain Rees stood at attention. Sir, your son has requested your presence. There was a disrespectful event on board. Zion looked at the screen. Hi, Dad. Zeke smiled slightly. Hello, son. Are you hurt? No, Zion replied. Just treated like I didn't belong. The Admiral's smile faded. He turned his eyes to the camera. Put her on. Karen's hands were shaking now. No, please. I didn't know. I thought. You thought you could judge someone by his skin or size, the Admiral said, voice cold. No, I just didn't understand who he was. You still don't, Zeke replied. But you're about to. The screen stayed on. Everyone watched in silence. Captain Rees nodded. What are your orders, sir? The Admiral paused, then said clearly. Remove her from the flight. Effective immediately. The identity. The cabin went completely silent. Passengers stared at the screen where Admiral Zeke had just given the command. Remove her from the flight. Effective immediately. Karen's mouth hung open. Her eyes were wide with fear. You can't do this, she said. I paid for first class. I have rights. Captain Rees didn't move. You had rights, ma'am. But you gave them up when you insulted the son of the airline's owner. Karen stood up from her seat, voice rising. I didn't know. He didn't he didn't act like someone important. Zion looked at her with calm eyes. I didn't have to act important. I just wanted to sit in peace. The passengers began murmuring. She's finished. She brought this on herself. Karen turned to the others. You're all just going to let this happen? He's just a boy. Captain Rees stepped forward. He's also the future leader of the Skyfleet. Karen blinked. What? Chief Mara added. Zion Zeke is being trained to take command one day. His identity is protected, but his authority is real. His bracelet gives him full access to the ship's systems. Karen stared at the bracelet on Zion's wrist. It was small, black, and glowing blue. I thought that was a toy, she whispered. It's a command link, Captain Rees said. He could have ordered a full ship lockdown, but he didn't. Karen looked at Zion again. The quiet boy who never shouted, never fought back, just sat still. You had power this whole time, she asked. Zion nodded. I didn't want to use it, but I had to and you wouldn't stop. Karen sat down hard in her seat. The Admiral's voice returned through the speaker. Captain, has she been removed yet? Working on it now, sir, Rees replied. Two large security bots entered the first-class cabin, smooth silver bodies, bright green eyes. "Please stand," one of them said to Karen. "You are being removed from this flight by order of the airline owner." "No, wait," Karen cried, grabbing the armrests. "This is a mistake. I can't be kicked off. I have a conference on Mars. I'm important." Zion looked at her one last time. "Everyone is important. You just didn't see that when it was me." Karen tried to argue, but the bots gently lifted her out of the seat. Passengers didn't speak. Some looked relieved, others looked proud. Zion remained calm, watching her being taken away. As the bots moved Karen toward the exit ramp, she screamed, "You'll regret this. You'll all regret this." The doors closed behind her. Silence returned. Captain Reese turned to Zion. "I'm sorry that happened. We'll make sure it never happens again." Zion nodded. "Thank you, Captain." Reese tapped his comm. "Flight control. Please mark Karen Griggs as banned from all future Skyfleet flights. Permanent blacklist." "Confirmed," came the voice from control. Passengers applauded softly. A few even stood up to shake Zion's hand. "You handled that better than most adults," one woman said kindly. "You're a strong young man," said another. Zion gave a small smile. "Thanks. I just wanted to sit next to the window." Captain Reese chuckled. "Well, that seat is yours for life now." The VIP treatment. After Karen was removed from the plane, the mood changed. The flight attendants moved quickly, but now with softer eyes and kinder smiles. They looked at Zion with new respect. Chief Mara came over. "Zion, would you like something to eat? We have your favorite, blueberry pancakes with stardust syrup." Zion smiled. "Yes, please." Captain Reese returned to the cockpit, but before going, he gave Zion a small nod. "I'll check in again soon. Relax. You're safe now." Zion nodded back. "Thank you, Captain." As Zion ate, the other passengers began to approach him, one by one. A businesswoman in a red suit leaned over. "That was very brave. You didn't yell. You didn't cry. You stayed strong." Zion just shrugged. "My dad says power should be quiet." A boy about Zion's age from row 3 came to him. "Can I sit with you?" Zion looked at Chief Mara, who smiled. "Of course, we've cleared the seat." The boy sat next to Zion and whispered, "That lady was really mean, but you were cool." Zion chuckled. "Thanks." A few minutes later, a screen slid down from the cabin ceiling again. Admiral Zeke appeared once more, this time with a proud smile. "Son, you did well," he said. "You used your authority wisely." Zion nodded. "I didn't want to bother you, but I had to." Zeke replied, "That's why I trust you with the bracelet. You only press the button when it matters." Zion smiled. "I'm okay now, Dad." The Admiral nodded. "Then enjoy the flight, and tell Captain Reese he owes you a tour of the cockpit." Zion grinned wide. "Yes, sir." The screen went dark again. Chief Mara raised an eyebrow. "Well then, looks like we better give our VIP the full Skyfleet experience." She tapped her wrist. A section of the floor lit up under Zion's seat. The seat gently reclined, and holograms danced in the air, stars, planets, and space whales swimming across the cabin ceiling. The boy next to him gasped, "Whoa, you get all this?" Zion laughed. "It's my first time using it too." A silver robot rolled down the aisle and offered drinks, floating juice bubbles in every color. Passengers clapped as Zion waved politely at them. Even the older passengers nodded with respect. "He's the future," one said. "No," another corrected, "he's the present." Chief Mara leaned close to Zion. "The captain will call you to the cockpit soon. You okay going in alone?" Zion nodded. "I want to see where the ship is going." She smiled. "You already know. Up." The ship's engines hummed gently, and the stars outside the window twinkled. Zion sat back, finally relaxed, watching space fly past. But just then, his bracelet blinked again. Zion looked at it. A soft tone rang. "LAOT, incoming unregistered craft." His smile faded. He turned to Chief Mara. You might want to call the captain again. The real threat. Zion's smile disappeared as the soft beep echoed from his bracelet. He looked down. The screen on it blinked red. ALERT, unregistered craft approaching. Chief Mara noticed his face change. What is it? Zion turned the bracelet toward her. She read the message and froze. She tapped her earcom. Captain, we've got a problem. Zion's bracelet just picked up an unregistered ship. Captain Reese's voice came back fast. I'm already seeing it. Stealth class. No ID code. It's following us from the dark side of Jupiter. Passengers didn't know yet. The cabin was still quiet and calm. Zion sat up straight. Should we warn everyone? Mara shook her head. Not yet. We don't want panic. The captain's voice came again. Bring Zion to the cockpit. Now. Chief Mara took his hand. Let's go. As they walked past the rows of passengers, Zion felt their eyes on him, but this time with trust, not fear. He whispered to himself, Dad always said trouble comes when you least expect it. When the cockpit doors opened, Zion saw the glowing control panels and 3 pilots working fast. Captain Reese turned around. Zion, come here. He pointed to a screen. There it was, a black, sharp-shaped ship, moving fast just outside their sensor range. Ray said, We don't know who it is. No response to hails. No ID. But your bracelet got the alert first. It's tied directly into Skyfleet defense systems. Zion asked, What if it attacks? Reese answered, Then we defend. Another pilot spoke. Sir, the ship is speeding up. It's closing in. Captain Reese turned to Zion. Son, I need your help. Your bracelet can authorize Skyfleet defense mode. We can't do it without a command link. Zion swallowed hard. Are we in danger? Yes, Ray said honestly. But with you here, we're ready. Zion looked at the glowing screen on his wrist. He remembered his father's words. Don't press the red command unless it's real. You'll know when it is. Zion pressed it. The bracelet turned from blue to gold. Suddenly, warning lights flashed on every screen in the cockpit. A calm robotic voice spoke. Defense mode activated. Command by Zion Zeke. In the passenger cabin, lights blinked as shields quietly deployed over the windows. Energy hums filled the ship. Passengers looked around, confused. The woman from earlier, who'd praised Zion, whispered, Something's happening. Back in the cockpit, Zion watched as 4 sky drones launched from hidden pods below the ship. They moved in formation, heading straight for the dark ship. A moment later, the stealth ship sent a signal. Unknown ship. We want the boy. Zion's face went cold. They're here for me. Captain Rise narrowed his eyes. Then they made the biggest mistake of their lives. Zion stood tall. Open a channel. Reese hesitated, then nodded. Channel open. Zion spoke loud and clear. This is Zion Zeke, son of Admiral Zeke, rightful heir to Skyfleet. You will leave now, or face the full force of our fleet. There was silence. Then the enemy ship turned, fast, and began to run. The drones chased it, driving it away from the spaceplane. Cheers broke out in the cockpit. You did it, one of the pilots yelled. Captain Rise put a hand on Zion's shoulder. You just saved everyone on board. Zion smiled, but inside, he knew one thing. This wasn't over. The final message. The enemy ship had turned and fled. The sky drones followed it far into the stars until it vanished from radar. Inside the spaceplane, the mood was electric. Passengers clapped. Some stood and cheered. They didn't know every detail, but they knew something serious had just happened, and they knew who had stalked it. Zion Zeke, the quiet boy in first class, the son of the man who controlled the skies. Captain Reese turned from the cockpit screen. Zion, you've done more than most trained officers today. Zion looked calm, but his voice was steady. I just did what my dad taught me. Chief Mara came in behind him. Sir, passengers are asking to meet him. Some are even calling him a hero. Zion looked at the door to the cabin. Okay, but only for a little while. He stepped out. Everyone turned. The boy in the neat jacket. The one Karen tried to move. The one who had said nothing, yet changed everything. The businesswoman who sat in row 2 spoke first. You saved our lives. Zion shrugged a little. It's my job, I guess. A small girl from economy walked up with a drawing. You were brave. I made this. It was a picture of Zion standing next to a spaceship with a big gold star. He smiled and took it gently. Thank you. Another boy whispered, Are you really the son of the Admiral? Zion nodded. Yeah, but I'm also just a kid who likes pancakes. Everyone laughed. Captain Reyes made an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now flying on a protected Skyfleet ship under direct command of Admiral Zeke's family. You are safe, and we are honored to have you aboard. Applause filled the plane. Just then, Zion's bracelet buzzed again. But this time, it was a green light, a message from his father. Zion tapped the screen. Admiral Zeke's face appeared. Zion, I saw everything. I'm proud. Zion smiled. Thanks, Dad. I'm okay. Zeke continued. I'll meet you at the skyport. And son, that ship was part of something bigger. This wasn't random. Zion's eyes narrowed. They wanted me. Yes, and they'll try again. Zion looked out the window at the stars. Let them, I'll be ready. The message ended. Zion leaned back in his seat. The flight attendants served him warm Stardust tea. The passengers watched him now, not with fear or pity, but with respect. Chief Mara whispered, How do you feel? Zion looked up at the stars. Like this is just the beginning. The camera pans out. The luxury spaceplane glides through the stars. Behind it, faint in the distance, something dark moves slowly, watching.